Looking for a second job was harder than I had bargained for. 2 weeks had passed, and still nothing. The job at the diner wasn't enough, and even with a few shifts at the bakery, I had to start at 3 or 4 in the morning to prepare goodies so they would be fresh and ready by 7. By the time I got to the diner at 8 or 9, I was a wreck. I was exhausted and starting to feel like I was coming down with something. On the 3rd week, during a break, I went to the staff room and found a bench. I lay down and soon fell asleep. Sarah walked in and found me. "Hey, Maggie, I was hoping to catch you. You're always running off." "No, it's nothing. I'm just really tired. This gig that Mrs. Smith got me at the bakery is kicking my butt. But I really hope after a month I will be able to take that room. I hope it's still available." "Maggie," she said, taking a seat next to me, "the room is there for you. I want you to move in now and then pay me at the end of the month. Don't worry about anything, really. We're friends. That's what friends are for. When you keep refusing me, it really breaks my heart," she said, giving me puppy dog eyes. I watched her and contemplated how to answer. "I don't know," I finally said, still unsure. "Listen, this weekend I don't work, so I'll help you move. I just have the nightclub where I get in at 9 or 10. So when you get off work, I'll have slept and I'll help you move. Plus, I'm sure you don't have a lot of things, so please move in, roommate. Okay, so Saturday will be roomies?" "Yes, okay." "Yeah," she squealed, hugging me. Then she let me go. "You look kind of hot and not in a sexy way. Are you sure you're okay?" "I don't know. I really feel like I'm coming down with something, but I'll take something to help me feel better." "You shouldn't take pills if you haven't been to the hospital. Maybe you should see a doctor." "Yeah, maybe I'll go," I said noncommittally. I didn't go to the hospital that day or the next. On Saturday, Sarah helped me move into her apartment. It wasn't fancy, but it was cute and livable with all the amenities. I had my own room and we'd be sharing rent. The place was big, and it seemed like a great arrangement, so I was super excited. After we finished moving in, Sarah served us some sandwiches on the kitchen island with fresh juice she had just squeezed. "I prepared this to welcome you to your new home," she said. "Don't worry, when I get off work, I'll get some wine or champagne and we'll celebrate," she added with a jiggle. "Yeah, that sounds great," I replied, feeling grateful. As we were done eating, she suddenly said, "Tom has been asking about you." "Oh, really?" I asked, not particularly interested in hearing about Tom at the moment. "Yeah, every time I get into work, he comes and finds me, asking about you, if you're okay, how you're doing, if you got a second job yet, that sort of thing." "Oh, that's really nice of him." Yeah, right," she snorts. "What? You're really giving the guy a hard time. I've never seen him this interested in someone who has absolutely no interest in him. I mean, do you have absolutely no interest in him?" Sarah asked me. I shook my head, though I wasn't sure if it was to say I wasn't interested or because I didn't know what to say. "Ah, poor Tom," she said, laughing, and headed into her room. She suddenly came back. "That reminds me, he told me that you should call him. He heard about a job, and when he asked if you had gotten a second job, I told him you hadn't. He said there was a job he could connect you with if you're interested. Maybe you should call him." "Yeah, maybe," I answered noncommittally. Sarah looked at me awkwardly and then sat down again. "You do know that he's just trying to help, right?" "I know, Sarah. I've never said anything bad about him. I really feel, I don't know if it's, I just feel uncomfortable getting help from him after everything that's happened." "Yes, and when you feel that way, he feels a lot worse," Sarah said. "I can't help how he feels, Sarah. I'm just concerned about myself right now." "So am I," she answered, and I frowned. "What do you mean? You look really bad. Have you looked at yourself in the mirror lately?" "I'm just tired from the bakery and the diner. It's kicking my butt." "Okay, if you say so. Did you go to see the doctor?" "I'll go next week. I'll get an appointment." "I don't know if you will actually do it if I let you do it. I'm getting worried. I wish you would just let me help you," Sarah said. "Listen, everything's going to be fine. I'm going to be fine. I'll go to the hospital next week. Everything is fine. I'm really tired. I should go to sleep," I told her as I got up from my stool and went to my new bedroom. Sarah came to say goodbye when she left for her shift, kissing me multiple times on the cheeks and the head. She acted super happy to have me here, and I knew she was just trying to make me feel comfortable. I was grateful for that. After she left, I started thinking about Tom's offer. Should I call him so he can connect me with this job? The job at the bakery was kicking my butt for very little money. I scrolled to his number, but I never managed to make the call. Sarah came back late, nearly morning, and burst into my bedroom. Hey, she said as soon as she got in. I told Tom that we are roommates and we never got a chance to celebrate, and guess what? He gave me champagne, she showed me her left hand, and some wine, she showed me her right hand. Come on, let's go celebrate. You just came off work, you must be exhausted. Yes, and also very alert. Let's sit down, let's celebrate, and then I can go to sleep, she said with a big smile. I laughed with her as I grudgingly got out of bed. I have to be at the bakery, I have to get ready. This will help you work the whole day, she said as she took my hand and led me into the kitchen, taking glasses from the cupboard and opening the wine. My new roommate was a handful. I don't know what I just signed myself to with this one. Sarah made me take a glass of champagne while she drank nearly 3 glasses. Later, when she suggested we drink the wine too, I refused, reminding her I had to be at work. Hey, did you call Tom about the job he mentioned? She asked as I was about to leave. I turned back toward her and shook my head. No. Why not? She asked, coming closer. This job at the bakery isn't doing much for you, is it? And you look like hell. Come on, we just celebrated. It's early in the morning. Yes, and look at me. I look fabulous. You look fabulous because you're back from work. Come on, just go to sleep so you're up and ready to be at the diner later. I gotta go. Yeah, but you really should call Tom about that other job. No, I don't think it's a good idea. Something's gonna come up. I just have to be patient, I told her as I touched her shoulder and left to get ready for the bakery. At the bakery, the early hours were always the hardest. The fatigue from the previous night's celebration clung to me as I struggled to focus on the tasks at hand. The smell of fresh bread and pastries filled the air, but even that comforting scent couldn't lift my spirits. My body ached, and my mind was foggy from lack of sleep. By the time my shift ended, I felt like I was running on fumes. I headed back to the apartment, hoping to catch a quick nap before my shift at the diner. When I walked in, Sarah was still asleep, sprawled out on the couch with an empty wine glass next to her. I quietly made my way to my room and collapsed onto the bed. As I lay there, my thoughts drifted back to Tom and the job offer. Sarah was right. The bakery job wasn't sustainable, and I needed to find something better. But the idea of calling Tom made me uneasy. I didn't want to rely on him, especially after everything that had happened between us. I closed my eyes, trying to push the thoughts away and get some rest. But sleep wouldn't come. Instead, I found myself reaching for my phone and scrolling to Tom's number again. My thumb hovered over the call button, but I couldn't bring myself to press it. Eventually, I gave up and got ready for my shift at the diner. As I walked in, Mrs. Smith greeted me with a warm smile. "How are you holding up, Maggie?" "I'm managing," I replied, forcing a smile. "You look tired, dear. Make sure you're taking care of yourself." "I will," I promised, even though I wasn't sure how. The day passed in a blur of orders and customers, and by the end of my shift, I was utterly exhausted. As I was about to leave, Mrs. Smith called me over. "Maggie, can I talk to you for a moment?" "Of course," I said, following her to the office. She closed the door behind us and gestured for me to sit. "I've noticed you've been struggling lately. I know you have a lot on your plate, and I just wanted to let you know that if you need anything, we're here for you." "Thank you, Mrs. Smith, that means a lot. I understand, but sometimes accepting help isn't a sign of weakness. It can be a step towards something better." I nodded, knowing she was right, but still feeling conflicted. After our conversation, I headed back home, where Sarah was waiting for me. Moving in with Sarah was supposed to be a fresh start, but exhaustion clung to me like a shadow. After we finished unpacking, Sarah poured 2 glasses of wine and handed one to me. "Aren't you going to work?" I asked, accepting the glass. "I am, but I need this to help me sleep," she replied. "Can you wake me at 9 to get ready? My shift starts at 10. "Okay," I agreed, taking a sip of the wine. The taste was sharp and unpleasant, but I forced it down. Sarah eyed me with concern. "You deserve this, you know. It'll help you relax." Maybe, I murmured, taking another sip. As we settled into the kitchen, Sarah broached the subject I had been avoiding. Did you call Tom about the job he mentioned? I shook my head. No, why not? She pressed. The bakery job isn't doing much for you, and you look like hell. I don't think it's a good idea, I said, trying to mask my uncertainty. Something will come up. I just have to be patient. Sarah sighed, clearly frustrated. You should at least consider it. It's a good opportunity. I didn't have an answer, so I just nodded and focused on finishing my drink. But as soon as I took another sip, my stomach turned. I barely made it to the bathroom before I started vomiting. Are you okay? Sarah asked, rushing in to tie my hair back. It must be the wine, I said weakly. She placed a hand on my forehead. You feel like you have a fever. Why don't you take a bath and see how you feel afterwards? Okay, I agreed, too tired to argue. The hot shower helped a little, but the fatigue still clung to me. When I emerged, Sarah was waiting with a bowl of soup. Eat this. It's light and should be easier on your stomach. Thanks, Sarah, I said, feeling a rush of gratitude. We ate in silence, Sarah watching me closely. Afterwards, she insisted I go straight to bed. I didn't have the energy to protest. The next morning, I felt slightly better, but still drained. I knew I had to take Sarah's advice and call the hospital. After securing an appointment for the next day, I felt a small sense of relief. When Sarah woke up, I told her about the appointment. Good, I'm glad you're finally going to see a doctor, she said with a reassuring smile. The rest of the day was a blur of work and exhaustion. I struggled through my shift at the diner, barely managing to keep up. When I got home, I collapsed on the couch. Sarah sat next to me, her expression serious. You really need to take care of yourself, Maggie. Promise me you'll go to the doctor tomorrow. I promise, I said, closing my eyes and leaning back. The next day, I made my way to the hospital. After a long wait, I finally saw the doctor, who ran some tests and asked a lot of questions. By the end of the appointment, the doctor called me into his office and smiled warmly as I took a seat. Well, Maggie, we have the results from your tests, he began. You're pregnant. The words hung in the air, and I felt the room start to spin. Pregnant. My mind raced, trying to process the information. The exhaustion, the nausea, the fatigue. It all made sense now. Pregnant? I echoed, my voice barely a whisper. Yes, the doctor confirmed gently. About 6 weeks along. How do you feel about this? I was overwhelmed, emotions crashing over me like waves. I thought of the night with Tom, the confusion and the aftermath, and now this. I didn't know how to feel. I don't know, I admitted. It's a lot to take in. Take your time to process this, the doctor advised. We'll be here to support you every step of the way. I nodded numbly, my mind still reeling. Walking out of the hospital, the reality of my situation began to settle in. I was pregnant. The word echoed in my mind, bringing a mix of emotions I couldn't comprehend. I felt overwhelmed, scared, and uncertain. I couldn't go home. I was still in a daze. I sat outside the hospital as I contemplated my situation. Sitting on a bench, I watched people pass by, each with their own lives and problems. I felt like I was in a bubble, disconnected from everything around me. My mind raced with questions. How would I manage this? What would I do next? But I knew what the biggest question of all was. Whose child was this? My mind immediately went to Edward. With what the doctor said, that I was nearly 5 to 6 weeks pregnant, this had to have been Edward's child. I must have run away while I was pregnant and didn't even know it. What am I going to do now? This is all crazy. This is so hard to comprehend. What will become of this child? This child will never know its father. My little girl, or boy, won't have his father in the world. I was going to have to do this on my own. I thought about Edward and what he would have thought if he knew I was pregnant right now. He would probably be happy, and he would probably want to be in this child's life, but not in this situation. Then again, I remembered why I ran away from Edward. What if this child was like his or her father? I didn't know how werewolves worked. What if this child was also a werewolf? How do I take care of it? What should I be expecting? But then I shouldn't be thinking so far ahead. I couldn't help it, though. I was going out of my mind with all these questions and no answers. I had no idea how to react, and I didn't exactly know how I felt about it yet. Was I happy? Was I sad? Was this good news? Was this bad news? But one thing I was sure about was that this was a surprise. After standing there for I don't even know how long, I decided to go back to the apartment. It was getting dark, and I needed to process the reality of my situation before facing anyone. I walked slowly, letting the fresh air calm my racing thoughts. When I got in, Sarah emerged from her bedroom. She was getting ready for work. "Hey," she said, coming toward me. "So how did it go? What did the doctor say? Why do you look like that? Is it bad news?" She hugged me without waiting for a response, then led me to the living room and helped me sit down. "You're scaring me. What's going on?" I looked at her as a tear ran down my cheek and I hurriedly wiped it off. "Is it bad? Is it cancer? What is it?" she asked, her voice tinged with fear. No, it's not that," I reassured her. "I don't even know why I'm crying. I don't know if I'm crying because I'm happy or sad. I'm so confused." "Okay, so what's going on? What did the doctors say?" I took a deep breath. "I'm pregnant, Sarah," I announced. Her eyes widened as she blinked a few times. "What? Sorry, you said you're pregnant?" "Yes, I'm pregnant. It's still crazy. I don't know how to feel about it." "Oh my God, you're pregnant. Okay, I don't know. Should I be celebrating? Should I be scared? I don't know. I can't tell. Is this good news or bad news?" Sarah asked, looking as bewildered as I felt. "I don't know. I just found out, so I'm still trying to process it." Okay, so we are still processing it. Okay, but I'm sure Tom will be so happy about this. When are you going to tell him?" I shook my head, feeling a lump in my throat. "It's not Tom, Sarah." She looked confused. "What do you mean? Whose is it then?" Sarah looked at me, her face a mask of shock and confusion. "Whose is it then?" she asked. "I thought you only slept with Tom. I didn't know you were seeing anyone." I swallowed hard, trying to steady my voice. "The baby is. It can't be Tom's, okay? It's a guy I used to date before I came here. That's who the child belongs to." Sarah's expression remained puzzled. "But how sure are you that it's not Tom's? Just because you slept with this guy before you came here, it could still be Tom's child." "No, Sarah. It's about nearly 5-6 weeks," I explained, feeling the weight of the truth settling on my shoulders. "It can't be Tom's." She looked at me intently. "Are you sure?" "Yes, it's not Tom's. Believe me, okay?" Sarah nodded, though her eyes were still filled with questions. "So, are you going to call this guy? Are you still seeing him? Is he an ex? What's the story there?" I shook my head. "Well, we didn't leave on good terms, so no, I don't think I'm going to tell him." Sarah's brows furrowed. "Was it a bad breakup? What happened? Just because you guys broke up, do you think it's fair that he shouldn't find out about his child?" "He did something," I began, struggling to find the right words. "I mean, he didn't do something terrible. It's just that he is a bad person, and it's not good for a family or a child. For his life, it's better if he doesn't find out." Sarah's concern deepened. "Did he lay his hands on you? Did he hurt you?" "He did hurt me, but not in the way you're thinking," I said, feeling tears prick at my eyes. "He didn't physically hurt me. He just broke my heart and lied to me about who he was. But it doesn't change who he is, and it's not a surrounding I want my child to grow up in. So I don't think I'm going to tell him." Sarah's eyes softened with sympathy, and she leaned closer. "So, are you going to be raising this child by yourself?" I nodded slowly, feeling the weight of her pity. "It looks like it." Sarah reached out and took my hand, giving it a reassuring squeeze. "You don't have to go through this alone, Maggie. We'll figure it out together, but it's important to consider every possibility." I appreciated her support, but the reality of the situation was overwhelming. As the evening drew on, I felt a sense of resignation mixed with determination. I had made my decision, but it didn't make the path ahead any clearer. The next morning, I awoke feeling more drained than I had anticipated. The exhaustion weighed heavily on me, and I could barely muster the energy to get up. I had missed my shift at the bakery and was already running late for the diner. Deciding to forgo the bakery shift entirely, I dragged myself out of bed later in the day, forcing myself to prepare for work at the diner. I tried to have a simple breakfast, grabbing a banana as I headed out. The familiar routine of walking to the diner now seemed foreign. The once comforting smells of food now felt overwhelming and nauseating. Each scent, each noise seemed to amplify the new reality I was facing. Work at the diner was a blur of moving through the motions while my mind was preoccupied with the torrent of questions and concerns about my future. The physical discomfort of pregnancy, combined with the mental strain, made it challenging to focus. I did my best to push through, but the weight of my new responsibilities loomed large in my thoughts. When my shift ended, I returned to the apartment and collapsed into bed, hoping for a restful sleep. But sleep eluded me. As I lay in the darkness, the enormity of my situation settled over me like a heavy fog. How would I manage to take care of a baby with the meager earnings from the diner? The thought of my shrinking income and the mounting costs of raising a child filled me with dread. The financial reality was harsh. The money I was earning barely covered my own expenses, let alone those of a new life. I could already foresee the physical changes that pregnancy would bring, changes that would likely make it even harder to juggle two jobs. The future seemed bleak, and the fear of financial instability was overwhelming. I knew I needed to come up with a plan, and fast. Before my pregnancy became too noticeable, I needed to find a way to secure additional funds for delivery and to support myself and the baby. But as the hours ticked by and sleep remained out of reach, I found myself paralyzed by uncertainty. In the quiet of the night, with only the sound of my own anxious breathing to keep me company, I realized that I had to face this challenge head-on. I needed to explore every possible option to ensure a stable future for my child. I couldn't afford to remain passive, waiting for circumstances to change. The room was dimly lit as I lay in bed, my mind swirling with the weight of my worries. Sleep seemed like a distant dream, elusive and out of reach. The burden of the day's challenges had settled heavily upon me, making rest difficult. The gentle knock on my door was a welcome interruption. Sarah entered with her usual cheerfulness, a bright spot on my gloomy day. "Hey, roommate," she greeted as she took a seat beside me on the bed. Her presence was a small comfort, and I managed a weak smile. "Hey," I replied, trying to muster some energy. "I didn't see you today." Sarah's eyes were filled with concern. "Yeah, I wasn't expecting you at the diner. I knew you came in late last night, and you usually don't work on weekends. I was hoping to catch you before you went to work." She held up a small shopping bag with a grin. "I was out shopping and bought you a little something. Come on, sit up and look." With trembling hands, I took the bag from her and peered inside. The sight of the tiny onesie, along with a matching sweater, pants, and little boots, brought tears to my eyes. The fabric was soft, and the colors were gentle and neutral, a thoughtful choice given my uncertainty about the baby's gender. Sarah noticed my reaction and quickly moved to comfort me. "Come on, don't cry. I just saw it and couldn't resist. The girl at the store asked if I wanted blue or pink, but I thought white would be best." I hugged her tightly, overwhelmed by a rush of gratitude and emotion. "Thank you, Sarah. This is the best present. I'll tell the baby that Auntie Sarah bought them their first ever clothes and made everything so real." Sarah's embrace was warm and reassuring. "Yes, we're going to have this baby together. I'll be here with you every step of the way." Her kindness and support felt like a beacon of light in my otherwise uncertain world. Despite having known each other for less than a month, Sarah had become an incredible friend, one who had stood by me during this tumultuous time. Her genuine care and generosity were something I hadn't expected but deeply appreciated. Later that evening, as I prepared dinner, the scent of the cooking filled the kitchen, mingling with my own growing discomfort. Sarah was getting ready for her shift, and I wanted to make sure everything was set before she left. I knocked softly on her bedroom door and stepped inside. "Hey, dinner's ready," I said, trying to sound casual. "I'm sorry if I made something that's not to your taste. I get nauseated very easily these days, so you might need to adjust. And you could tone down the spice when you prepare food, but you know what? You don't have to. I'll just prepare my own food from now on." Sarah's face softened with concern. "Oh, no. It's fine. Come on, let me take care of you." I managed a small smile. "Okay, fine, but I've already prepared dinner though, so maybe you should take something before you go to work." We moved to the kitchen and Sarah took a seat on the kitchen island. I served us both and we began to eat in comfortable silence, but soon the weight of my thoughts made me speak up again. "So, Sarah, are you sure there's no possibility of me getting another job? I mean, I'm not choosing. I'll do just about anything. You just tell me and I'll decide for myself. The baby is due in 8 months, and I have to be ready for it." I don't know how long I have until I start waddling around with thick feet and won't be able to function as a human again. So I really need something that will help me get some money to support this baby. I'll do anything right now while I still have the strength." Sarah looked at me with sympathy as she took my hand in hers. She seemed to be weighing her words carefully. "Maggie, I don't think this is the time for you to start worrying about work or stressing yourself out. You should be relaxing and taking time off to put your feet up and enjoy your pregnancy. You shouldn't be overworking yourself." "I know, Sarah. You think I don't know that," I said, frustration tinging my voice. "But who's going to take care of me and this baby? I can't depend on you. You're a single young woman. You didn't sign up for this. You can't. I have to figure my way on my own." Sarah's expression was filled with concern. She squeezed my hand gently. "Look, I get it. You're right, but maybe there are other ways to handle this without adding more stress to yourself. We'll figure something out together. For now, focus on taking care of yourself and the baby." Sarah's words were kind, but they didn't entirely soothe the anxiety gnawing at me. The reality of my situation was becoming clearer with each passing day. I needed to secure my future, not just for myself, but for the child who would soon depend on me. As Sarah prepared to leave for work, I was left alone with my thoughts. The dinner we had shared was a small comfort, but the larger questions loomed over me, unanswered. I knew I needed to find a solution, and soon. I finally decided to bite the bullet and call Tom about that job offer that Sarah had told me about. I was expecting this baby. I was going to have to take care of it. So what did it hurt if I called Tom and got that job? I really didn't care. I was out of options right now. I had been putting off this call for days, struggling with my own pride and uncertainty. But as I sat alone in the apartment, the weight of impending responsibilities bore down on me. I needed to take control of my situation for the sake of the baby. So, with a deep breath, I picked up my phone and dialed Tom's number. The phone rang a few times before Tom's voice came through, sounding both familiar and comforting. "Hello?" "Hi, Tom. It's Maggie," I said, trying to keep my voice steady. "I was just thinking about that job you mentioned a while back. Is it still available?" There was a brief pause on the other end. "Hey, Maggie, I'm glad you called. Yes, I think so. I'm not sure. I would have to ask. It's been a few days, and maybe they already had someone. I would have to check." "Okay. Do you mind checking for me? And when you have an answer, could you reach out and tell me? I really need that job right now." "Okay, fine. I'll do that. I'm just really glad that you reached out. How are you doing?" "I'm fine. I'm okay. Everything's perfect." "Okay, are you sure?" "Yes, I'm fine. You just sound different, but I don't know you that well. So please don't be a stranger. If you're looking for a friend or want to talk, I am here." "Okay, thanks. I'll keep that in mind." I answer, trying to act cheerful. "I'm sorry. Do you mind if You know what? Forget it. What is it?" "No, it's fine. So I'll look over that job and I'll get back to you." "Okay, thanks, Tom. That will be wonderful." "It's not a problem." I watched some TV and must have fallen asleep on the couch because the next thing I knew, Sarah was waking me up. When I looked at the clock, it was already 5 in the morning. "Hey, did you sleep here?" she asked, concerned. "Yeah, I must have dozed off. I tried sleeping in the bedroom and I couldn't get to sleep, so I decided to watch some TV. She looked at me with pity. "Come on, let's get you to bed. It's not good for your back." "Hey, I'm not that big yet," I joked as I stood up. We both headed to the hallway, and she made sure I went to bed first before she went to hers. She was so sweet, and I thought that as I drifted off to sleep again. When I woke up and looked at the bedside table, I saw it was 11. I was way late for work. I scrambled to get dressed, brushing my teeth quickly and running out the door. When I arrived at the diner, I was surprised to find Sarah there. "Hey, you came to work? I thought you didn't work weekends," I said. "Yeah, but I came to cover for you. I talked to Mrs. Smith and told her you weren't doing well, so I came in to cover for you." "Hey, you should have just woke me." "I came in the morning to wake you, and you looked so exhausted. I felt bad and decided to just let you sleep in," she answers sweetly. "But you came back from work at 5. You must be so tired." "No biggie. In the beginning, I used to work 2 shifts, so it's okay." "All right, thanks, but I'm already here, so could you please go back home and sleep? And really, thanks for this." You're being so amazing that I'm starting to feel guilty. I've never done anything for you. She kept hold of my hand. That's what friends are for. I'm not counting. Please don't count, she said as she headed back toward the staff room. I couldn't help how I felt about her right then as I continued my shift at the diner. When I was about to leave, I checked my phone and saw 3 missed calls from Tom. I knew the call must be about work, so I went outside and called him. Hello? Hey, Tom, I saw your calls. I was at the diner, so I'm just getting my phone now. Oh, it's okay. After the 2 rings, I realized you must be at work, so I called about the job I was telling you about, but it was already filled. Disappointment filled me, and I sighed. Oh, okay. Thanks for helping anyway. But, Tom continued, I have this friend who owns a hotel in the city, and he told me there are 2 positions for waitresses. It's a great opportunity, and I put in a word for you, mentioning you worked at the nightclub. What do you think? You'll have to go for an interview, though. Yes, thanks. I would like that. Okay, so about the pay and everything, you'll have to go for an interview and then sign a contract. The work is legit, and you probably won't even have to work 2 jobs anymore. It's not as hectic as the diner or the nightclub, he said, laughing. No, thanks. That's really good. I would love that. All right, I'll send you the details. You should probably talk to Mrs. Smith because they're in the middle of hiring, so you should go there tomorrow at 8. That's why I called you at work, so you can tell her you won't be able to make it early tomorrow. Okay, thank you, Tom. That's a really big help. I don't know how to thank you. Please don't thank me yet until you get the position, although I'm sure you're going to ace it. You're going to ace the interview. Okay, Tom, thank you. All right, goodbye, Maggie. Take care of yourself. Yes, Tom. Thank you, I said, hanging up the call with a smile. When I went back to the apartment, I was super excited that Sarah came in surprised from her bedroom. Hey, what happened? Why are you so happy? She asked curiously. So I took your advice. I called Tom about that job he mentioned, but the job was already filled. Oh, then why are you so happy? But then, he told me he has this friend in the city who owns a hotel, and they are looking for waitresses. Plus, he told me that there are 2 positions and that they are looking for 2 waitresses. Why don't we just go together? We could commute together to go to the city because it's in the city. What do you think? Sarah's eyes widened with surprise. Wow, she said and came closer. So Tom has a friend in the city who owns a hotel? Yeah, what's the name of the hotel? I don't know. He told me he was going to send me the details. Let me look at my phone and see if he already sent them. I took out my phone and saw the details Tom had sent. It's called the Zeal Hotel. Sarah frowned, and I wondered what that was about. Why aren't you happy about this? I thought you would be excited. No, I'm sorry. I'm happy. I'm happy for you. This is good news. You'll leave the job at the diner, you won't probably need to get a second job, and it will really help you relax. Yes, but I told you they need 2 waitresses. We can go there together for an interview. I don't think I'm going to get the job, Sarah said. I frowned. Okay, you're acting weird. What's going on? The club belongs to Tom. It's his club. See, his nightclub is called the Z Nightclub, and the hotel is called the Zeal Hotel. It's his hotel. Okay, I'm not catching up. So the hotel belongs to Tom? Yeah, it belongs to him. And I know the manager there. They're not hiring. He probably just really wants to give you the job. And I probably shouldn't have told you this. Why did I even tell you this? She sighed, almost scolding herself. I sat down, trying to process what Sarah had just said. So Tom owns the hotel and the nightclub? Yes, and he wants to help you. It seems like he really cares. Why didn't he just tell me this? I guess he didn't want to make you feel obligated or uncomfortable. He's trying to help in his own way. I sighed, feeling a mix of gratitude and confusion. I guess I'll just go to the interview and see how it goes. That's the spirit. Just take it one step at a time, Sarah encouraged, squeezing my hand. I nodded, feeling a little more reassured. Thanks, Sarah, for everything. Anytime, Maggie. We're in this together. I woke up early because despite everything, I was still nervous. Even after what Sarah had revealed to me yesterday about the hotel belonging to Tom, I couldn't shake the jitters. I got ready and was about to catch a bus to the city when Sarah intercepted me. Hey, so you're going to the city? and I'm going to the diner. I can walk there, I can take a bus there, I can ride a bicycle there. Why don't you take the car?" "Your car?" "Yes." "Oh, but then you're new," she said almost to herself. "You don't even know how to get there. You know what? This is your first day at your new job. I'll just take you." "No, no, no, Sarah. No, this way, you'll know the way and you won't have to catch a bus every day. You just drive the car." "I can't take your car to work every day. While you take a bus, I'll get some money, then I'll buy my own car." "Yes, until then, you deserve the car, so you take it. Sarah, you've done too much. Please, let's just drop by the diner for a few minutes so I can talk to Mrs. Smith, and then I'll take you to work." "But then I'm already not going to work, and you're not going to work. What will happen to the diner? We can't. I already gave Mrs. Smith my 2-week notice. She knows I'm about to quit. I just gave her a 2-week notice so she starts looking for someone. Trust me, it's okay." "You're leaving work at the diner? Why?" "Well, things are looking up at the nightclub, and I'm getting paid really well right now, and I don't need to work at the diner anymore." "Okay, come on, let's go." "Are you sure, though?" "I'm sure, Maggie. Come on." "All right, fine. So as you're going, put the route in your phone and watch the road. I don't want you to get lost on your first day when you have to go to work by yourself." We laughed and got into the car. Sarah's support made me feel more confident, and I knew I wasn't alone in this journey. The drive to the city was smooth, and we chatted the entire way, making sure to follow the GPS directions carefully. When we arrived at the Zeal Hotel, I felt a mixture of excitement and nerves. Sarah hugged me tightly before I stepped out of the car. "Good luck, Maggie. You're going to do great." "Thanks, Sarah. Remember, I'm just a phone call away if you need anything. I'll just find somewhere to chill for a few minutes." I nodded, took a deep breath, and walked into the hotel. The manager greeted me and invited me into his office. He was really nice, a bit too nice, which only confirmed what Sarah had told me about Tom and this hotel. He asked normal questions about where I worked before, my resume, and my CV. Then, right on the spot, he told me that I was hired. Despite kind of expecting it, I was still surprised and really happy. "Thank you so much, Maxwell, for this opportunity. I will not let you down." "I know you won't. Welcome to the Zeal family. Thank you so much." I left the hotel with a smile, immediately calling Sarah, who had told me she would be nearby. "So where are you?" I asked her. "We should celebrate. I'm at the Blue Moon Cafe just down the street. Come on over." I quickly made my way to the cafe, my heart still racing with excitement. When I walked in, I saw Sarah sitting at a corner table, waving at me with a big smile on her face. I hurried over and gave her a hug. "I got the job!" I exclaimed. "I knew you would. Congratulations, Maggie!" "Thanks, Sarah. I couldn't have done it without you." "Of course, you could have, but I'm glad I could help. Now, let's order something to celebrate." We spent the next couple of hours chatting and laughing over coffee and pastries. The weight of uncertainty that had been pressing on me for weeks seemed to lift, replaced by a sense of hope and possibility. As we talked about the future, I felt more optimistic than I had in a long time. The next morning, I was up bright and early for my first day at work. Despite everything I had already been through, I felt a mix of nerves and excitement. I had never worked at a hotel before, but this felt like the first step in the right direction. I took Ruby's car and used directions to help me get to work. My first day was amazing. The manager introduced me to my fellow workers, and I started my shift. Being a high-end establishment, there wasn't too much work, although my eyes nearly bugged out when I saw the prices of dining there. The first, second, and third days went by without a hitch. But then, on the fourth day, problems started. It was just a normal day like any other. Everything was great until I was ordered to get a seafood dish. I wasn't prepared for the mix of smells in the kitchen, and when I was handed the seafood dish to take to the client, the odor hit me hard. I gulped and tried to keep it in, but the sight and smell of the seafood were too much. Bile rose in my throat, and before I could put the food aside, I started vomiting right there in the kitchen. I ran towards the bathroom, desperately trying to keep myself together. I didn't know how long I spent kneeling over the toilet bowl until I heard the sound of footsteps coming into the bathroom. It was the lead female worker, and behind her was another waitress. "Are you okay?" she asked, standing by the door. I'm fine, just... I coughed, heaving into the bowl again. Just give me a few minutes. Okay, she said and instructed the other waitress to go back to work. I'll take care of her. I continued to heave into the bowl for a few more minutes until I was sure everything was finished. I took some toilet paper, dabbed my mouth, and then went to the sink to wash my hands and face. As I tried to rinse the vomit from my mouth, the female lead stood there patiently, waiting for me to finish. Her presence made me nervous, knowing someone was watching me at one of my worst moments. When I was done, I started apologizing profusely. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. It will never happen again. I am so sorry. She cut me off, but the manager asked to see you, so we should go to his office. Oh my God, am I going to get fired? I asked, panic creeping into my voice. Oh no, it's just the hotel's policy. I forced a smile as I followed her out of the bathroom. She glanced back at me again. Are you sure you're okay? I'm fine, I said. You seem to be sweating. Are you sure you're not coming down with something? I gave her a tight smile. I'm okay. If you say so, she replied. She then led the way to the manager's office, with me trailing behind. As we walked through the halls, my mind raced. I knew that I had to explain myself clearly to the manager, and I hoped that he would understand my situation. When we got to the manager's office, he looked up and said, Maggie, do you mind having Clara here? Because she is the head of the female workers, it's a policy to have her here. I glanced at Clara and nodded. It's fine. The manager leaned forward, his expression serious. Are you okay? Are there any diseases that we should know about you? Are you sick? Because in your form, you didn't mention anything. I had lied about being pregnant, afraid that if I told the truth, they wouldn't hire me. I forced a smile. No, I must just be coming down with something. You caused quite a scene there in the kitchen, he continued. Food is getting prepared there, so we had to block that section off. I would like you to go back home and take the rest of the day off. You know what? Take 2 days until you're feeling better, and then you can come back to work. Oh no, I can't. I really, really need the money, I protested. He cut me off. Maggie, take the 2 days off. Why don't you go to the hospital and see what is wrong? We would hate for a repeat of that performance. If word got out, it could be really bad for the reputation of the hotel. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean it to be anything. It's okay, Maggie. You know what? Take the rest of the week off. Why don't we see you again next week? But I really need the money. Look, I promise that won't happen again. The manager looked at Clara and said, Could you give us a few minutes, Clara, if you don't mind? No problem, sir. Clara left the room, and the manager turned back to me. Maggie, I'm sure you're not feeling well. Do not worry about the money. You will get paid as you usually do, but I really need you to take the week to heal, so this does not happen again. I would hate to have someone here who was sick. I nodded, my mind spinning. It was his decision, and I couldn't force it. Okay, thank you. You're welcome. No worries. I stood up and left the hotel, feeling a mix of relief and frustration. As I walked back to the apartment, I wondered how I was going to make it through the next week without work, even with the pay. When I got into the apartment, I found Sarah and her boyfriend, Mike, there. They seemed startled to see me, as if I had interrupted something. I quickly closed my eyes and said, I didn't see anything. I didn't see anything. I'm going into my room. I hurried straight into my room and flopped on the bed, feeling the exhaustion from the day's events. A few minutes later, Sarah came in. Hey, hi, I'm sorry. I didn't know I would catch you in such a position. No, it's okay. I'm not worried about you. Why are you at home now? Shouldn't you be at work? I should be, but I kind of caused a small scene in the kitchen, so I was given the week off. The whole week? Are they firing you? She asked, her concern evident. I don't think so. He just told me that I needed to take a few days off to feel better. Oh, but the money, she said. Yes, but he promised me I would get paid even without finishing the rest of the week. Oh, okay, that's good then. I don't know. I just started working there and then caused this scene. I puked in the kitchen, I admitted, feeling embarrassed. Sarah laughed. You puked in the kitchen? Please don't laugh. It makes me feel even worse than I already do. Come on, she said, sitting down and trying to put her arms around me. Please don't touch me. I don't know what you and Mike have been up to, and I don't want it anywhere near me, I said, half jokingly. She laughed harder. Okay, so I'll see you later then. Do you want me to get you anything? No, seriously, I've just been serving people. I think I can serve myself too. Okay, I'll be in my room, she said, standing. Where you should be keeping all your activities, I told her as she was heading to the door. Who knows what you have been doing in the kitchen? She chuckled harder as she left, closing the door behind her. The day went on uneventfully. I spent the whole day sleeping until there was a sudden knock on the door. Maggie? Maggie? I rose from the bed and wondered why I was hearing a male voice or whether I was hearing things. I waited, and then I heard that knock again and someone calling behind the door. Maggie? Maggie? I stood up and went to open my bedroom door, and once I opened it, I was surprised to find Tom there, standing on my bedroom door. I was just in bed. I was tired, and I must have looked in a state. I wondered why he was there. Hey, Tom, I said in surprise. Hey, Maggie. I'm sorry to drop in like this, but I've been trying to call you, and you were not picking up my calls. When Sarah came to work today, she told me you were not feeling well, and you were at home. Is everything all right? I rubbed my eyes and tried to shake off the grogginess. Yeah, I'm fine. I just had a rough day at work and ended up getting sent home. Tom looked concerned. I'm sorry to hear that. Do you need anything? I can help with anything you might need. Thanks, but I think I'm okay for now, I said, appreciating his offer but feeling a bit overwhelmed by the unexpected visit. All right. If you need anything or just want to talk, let me know, Tom said, giving me a reassuring smile. I'm fine, Tom, really. I appreciate you coming down to check on me, but everything's all right. All right. Have you had dinner yet? Because Sarah said you didn't have lunch, and she told me that you liked pizza, and I brought it for you. Oh, well, thank you. Why are you being so nice? And then I cut myself off. Do you want me to join you? Because she kind of mentioned that you're a lazy eater, and if I don't stay with you, you might not eat at all. Do you mind? You know what? Fine. Just give me a few minutes to get myself together. Although it may take a while, I need to get a shower first. Tom nodded. It's okay. I can wait. In the meantime, I'll just watch TV or something. Okay. And then he left towards the living room. I got back into my bedroom, took that shower, put on new clothes, and then went back to the living room where I found Tom scrolling on his phone, the TV off. When he saw me, he put his phone in his pocket and said, Hey, you look refreshing. Yes. From the last time, I must look amazing. Although you seem very tired. Do I look that bad? I asked self-consciously, No, you just look different. Is everything all right? Yeah, everything is okay. I'm sorry to bring this up, but I kind of got a call from the hotel about you. Oh, that's why you came here. No, that's not why I came here. I came here because I wanted to know if you were okay. Everything is fine, Tom, really. Okay, let's get this pizza. So we sat down and ate in silence. Afterwards, Tom tried to help me clean up, but I waved him off. He said goodbye and left. I was hoping to wake up the next day refreshed and better, so I could maybe go back to work and convince the manager to get me on the shift. But I woke up worse than yesterday. I was sweaty, I was tired, and I kept running to the bathroom to puke. Sarah had to come from her room to check on me. I tried taking a shower, but everything I tried to put inside me came back up. I spent the entire day in bed with nothing to eat or drink. On the second day, Sarah, who had the day off, was even more concerned. When she saw me in such a state, she started panicking. Maggie, you need to go to the hospital, she said urgently. You haven't eaten anything, and you're just vomiting and sweating. This isn't right. I'm just pregnant, I replied weakly. I don't need to go to the hospital for that. Have you seen yourself? You're not taking in anything, and you might die in here. I can't let this go on, Sarah insisted. Please, let's just go to the hospital. I can't afford a hospital right now, I protested. I'll be fine. Just let me sleep. No, Maggie, it's not just about you. It's about the baby, too. You need to get checked out, Sarah argued. Please, just let me sleep, and we'll go when I wake up, I pleaded. Fine, but you're going. I'm not taking any more chances, Sarah said as she reluctantly left the room. I drifted in and out of sleep, feeling weaker with each passing hour. The next thing I knew, I was in a bright white room with various machines around me. There were wee IV lines in my arms, and beeping sounds filled the space. A nurse entered, looking concerned but calm. "Good, you're awake. You've been out for a while. How are you feeling?" I tried to speak, but my throat was dry and my voice barely came out. "What happened?" "You were brought in by a friend," the nurse explained gently. "You were severely dehydrated and needed immediate medical attention. We've been giving you fluids and medication to help with the nausea." I looked around, confused, and then noticed Tom sitting in a chair near the bed, looking worn but relieved. "Tom?" I croaked. He stood up and came closer, his expression a mix of worry and relief. "I'm so glad you're awake. Sarah called me when she couldn't to respond. I came over and found you in bad shape. We had to get you to the hospital." I didn't realize I was so bad off," I said weakly. Tom nodded. "You were really dehydrated. Sarah was beside herself, and I knew we had to get you here quickly." The nurse adjusted my IV and checked my vitals. "You'll need to stay here for a couple of days until we're sure you're stable. It's good that you came in when you did. It would have been much worse if you had stayed at home." I glanced at Tom and Sarah, who was now sitting beside him, her eyes red from worry. "Thank you, Tom. I don't know how to repay you." Tom gave a small smile. "You don't have to repay me. I'm just glad you're getting the care you need." As the nurse continued her work and Tom and Sarah sat by my side, I felt a mix of relief and exhaustion. And when I looked at Tom, he was smiling encouragingly at me, and so was Sarah. But there was something different about their expressions. Tom's smile didn't reach his eyes, and Sarah avoided making eye contact with me. I stayed 2 days at the hospital, and despite my insistence on going home, the doctors were firm about keeping me under observation until they were sure I was okay. I was increasingly anxious about the bill. On the 3rd day, feeling much better and more determined than ever, I pushed for my release. The nurse, however, informed me that the bill had already been settled. "The bill is taken care of," she said. "A friend of yours, the one who brought you in, already paid. Please, if that's what's worrying you, just stay for the last day. Tomorrow, you'll be able to go home." Reluctantly, I agreed to stay. When Sarah came to visit me in the afternoon, I immediately confronted her. "Who paid for my medical bills?" I demanded. "Please tell me it's not Tom. If it's you, I could at least pay you back." Sarah looked uncomfortable, avoiding my gaze as she rearranged the flowers beside my bed. "Tom insisted on covering it," she admitted quietly. I tried to stop him, but he wouldn't listen. "What's going on?" I asked, sensing there was more she wasn't telling me. "There's something you're hiding from me. What is it?" "Don't worry about it," Sarah said, trying to reassure me. "The bill's paid, you're doing better, and the nurse said you'll be discharged tomorrow. Just focus on getting well and following the doctor's orders. I don't want anything to happen to the baby." I frowned, feeling conflicted. "We're going to talk about this. I really feel bad taking money from Tom after everything he's already done for me. It feels like he's doing it out of guilt." "Stop thinking about it," Sarah said firmly. "I've known Tom all my life. He doesn't do things he doesn't want to do. It's not guilt, it's his choice." "All right, fine," I said, conceding to her point, though my mind was still troubled. On the 4th day, as the doctor finally discharged me, I was surprised to see Tom waiting to take me home. Since the first day I'd woken up in the hospital, Tom hadn't visited, so I hadn't expected him to come and get me. "Hey, Maggie," Tom greeted me as I was wheeled out. "Feeling better?" "Yes, much better," I replied, surprised to see him. "I didn't expect you to come get me." Tom smiled. "I wouldn't miss it. Let's get you home." As we left the hospital and headed back to the apartment, I couldn't help but feel a mix of gratitude and curiosity. I still didn't fully understand why Tom had gone so far out of his way, but for now, I was just relieved to be heading home. When we arrived at the apartment, I noticed something unusual. The building was familiar, but the floor and the door we went to were different. If Sarah hadn't been ahead of us, unlocking it and inviting us inside, I might have thought Tom was kidnapping me. I slowed my pace, unsure of what to expect. As I stepped inside, I was taken aback. The apartment was much larger, more elegant, and better furnished than ours. The decor, the furniture, the windows, all were of a higher quality. I stood frozen just inside the door, marveling at the transformation. Tom followed me in, carrying the hospital bags, and gently guided me further into the apartment by my shoulders. He closed the door behind us, and I looked over to Sarah for an explanation. She gave me a quick, reassuring smile, but didn't offer any details. I moved towards the hallway, which seemed to lead to the bedrooms, still trying to process the change. Turning back to Tom, I gave him a questioning look, my confusion evident. But before I could ask anything, I remembered that Tom didn't live with me. How could he be involved in this? I was disoriented and overwhelmed. I couldn't grasp what was happening. "Sarah," I called after her, feeling utterly bewildered. "I'm really tired. Can we just go to the apartment so I can sit down and get a few minutes of sleep?" "Of course," Tom said from behind me, gently taking my hand and guiding me toward the end of the hallway. He led me to the last door, which appeared to be the master bedroom. He opened it and invited me inside. The room was spacious and elegant, featuring a large king-sized bed. As I stepped in, I was overwhelmed by confusion. "Come on, why don't you lie down?" Tom urged. "Wait, Tom, what's going on?" "We'll talk later," he said softly. "Just get a few hours of sleep. When you wake up, try to eat something, and then we'll talk." I looked at him, still confused. "I don't understand what's happening. Can you please tell me?" "You're tired," Tom said, his voice calm. "Just take care of yourself." Before I could protest further, Tom was already helping me onto the bed, tucking the blankets around me. He began unpacking my bags and arranging them as if he lived there. I noticed small items that were mine, which made me even more confused. This wasn't his house, and yet it seemed like he was settling me in as if it were. "Tom, I want to see Sarah," I said, my voice edged with frustration. "She's in her room next door," Tom said as he moved toward the door. "I'll get her." I muttered to myself, did I lose my mind at the hospital? Sarah entered the room moments later. "Hey Maggie, how are you feeling?" she asked. "I know you're tired, so I was giving you a few minutes to rest. Do you want to take a shower first?" "What's going on, Sarah?" I asked urgently. "Didn't Tom talk to you?" she asked with a frown. "Talk to me about what?" I replied, looking uneasy. "This is a conversation I don't want to be part of right now. Just relax for now and we can talk when you're more settled." "I don't like this, Sarah. Seriously," I said, my concern growing. "It's not something bad," she reassured me. "I wouldn't do anything to hurt you. Just use that trust to relax, okay?" "All right," I said reluctantly, "but you better not have done anything." "I wouldn't dare," she said with a small smile. She helped me settle into the bed and then left me to rest. As I lay there, the room's grandeur and my fatigue began to overwhelm me. I closed my eyes, trying to make sense of the situation. The bed was incredibly comfortable, and despite my anxiety, exhaustion quickly took over. When I woke up, I was disoriented. The sunlight filtering through the elegant curtains suggested it was afternoon. I lay still for a few moments, taking in the unfamiliar surroundings. The soft rustling of footsteps outside my door signaled that someone was nearby. Tom entered the room, his expression a mix of concern and relief. "Hey Maggie, how are you feeling?" "Better, I guess," I replied. "But I need to understand what's going on. Why am I here?" Tom took a seat on the edge of the bed. "Sarah and I thought it would be best for you to stay here for a bit. It's more comfortable and secure. Plus, we wanted to make sure you had everything you need while you recover." "But this is so confusing," I said, sitting up and rubbing my eyes. "Why the sudden change? Why did Sarah and you do this?" Tom sighed. "Sarah was worried about you, and so was I. When we saw how weak you were, we decided to get you into a better environment where you could rest properly." "I feel bad about all this," I said, looking down. "Especially since it seems like Tom paid for everything. I don't want to be a burden." Tom shook his head. "You're not a burden, Maggie. We just want to make sure you're okay, and for what it's worth, Sarah didn't want to worry you more by discussing the costs." I nodded, though I still felt uneasy. "Where's Sarah now?" "In her room," Tom said. "She's been busy sorting things out, but she'll come by soon. We thought it might be better if you rested first." "All right," I said, feeling a bit more at ease. "I appreciate everything. It's just a lot to take in." Tom smiled, though his eyes were still serious. "Just focus on getting better. Everything else will work itself out." He stood up, smoothing the bed covers. "If you need anything, just let me know. Sarah will be around to check on you, and I'll be here as well." After Tom left, I sat quietly, taking in the calm and quiet of the room. The opulence of the place was starkly different from my old apartment, and it made me feel both comforted and unsettled. A few minutes later, Sarah entered, looking much more relaxed than before. She brought a tray with some food and a glass of water. "Hey, how's the rest treating you?" "Better," I replied, accepting the tray. "Thank you for everything, Sarah. I still don't fully understand why this is happening, but I really do appreciate it." Sarah smiled. "We just want what's best for you. Tom and I have been friends for a long time, and we look out for each other. It's nothing more than that." "Well, it feels like a lot," I said, taking a bite of the food, "and I feel guilty for all the trouble." "Don't," Sarah said, shaking her head. "You're going through a tough time. Just focus on getting better. We'll talk more when you're up for it." I knew that they were lying to me and that there was something more, something they were hiding from me that made them do all of this. But for now, I knew that I had to get my strength back before we got into whatever that was. And so I let them and let everything be until I was feeling better and up to find out the truth. I nodded, feeling a bit more reassured. The food was surprisingly good, and I ate slowly, savoring each bite. As I finished, I felt a bit more grounded, though the confusion lingered in the back of my mind. Being on bed rest was the worst, and I was relieved when the 2 weeks were over. I went back to the hospital for a checkup to see how I was doing. The doctor informed me that I could now walk around the house, but I was still restricted from heavy lifting, work, and anything that would increase stress due to my pregnancy complications. "I understand the instructions, doctor," I said, "but I need to go back to work. I called the Zeal Hotel to let them know I'd be back after 2 weeks. The doctor looked at me curiously. "What is it that you do?" "I'm a waitress. I work at the Zeal Hotel." "Oh, that's a very nice hotel. My wife and I usually go there to celebrate big moments in our lives." "That's nice. Maybe one day when you come there, I'll be your waitress," I said with a smile. The doctor's expression became serious. "I don't think that's a great working environment for you right now. What I need from you is to relax. You've just come off bed rest, and you still need to spend most of your time resting. You shouldn't be doing any exercises yet. You can walk around the house, prepare meals, take a bath, and watch TV. But avoid sitting for too long and try to spend most of your time lying down." I opened my mouth to protest, but since I came with Sarah and Tom, I told him to wait outside, so I just came inside the doctor's office with Sarah, who interrupted me. "Maggie, seriously, just listen to the doctor's instructions. He's not giving you these guidelines for his own benefit. It's for your health and the baby's." Seeing their concern and realizing the seriousness of my situation, I reluctantly agreed. I was quiet on the ride home while Sarah filled Tom in on what the doctor said. Just Tom looked really interested, and it occurred to me that nobody was mentioning the fact that I was pregnant, except the doctor, of course, but I didn't want to dive into it. Sarah seemed to be at home a lot and not going to work, which made me wonder. Even though Tom was her boss, it was still a business, and she was just staying home. Did she take leave from work? I also realized that Tom was at the apartment a lot. Sarah and I needed to have that talk now. It was time. When we reached the apartment, I decided to stay in the living room for a while and get to enjoy the place. Sarah came towards me, acting like my new nurse. "Don't you want to get some sleep? You've been sitting the whole time at the hospital. Maybe you should rest for a while." "Where is Tom?" I asked her. "Well, he just dropped us off and had to leave. He's got work to do, busy. You don't just become a millionaire for nothing." "Oh, so he is," I said as Sarah chuckled. "Come on, why don't we go to the bedroom? After being at the hospital, maybe you should take a bath first and then rest. How does that sound? It sounds like you and I really need to have that talk now." "Really? Really? Now?" "Yes, now." "You know what? We'll have that talk, but I think the person you need to have that talk with is Tom, not me." "What do you mean?" I frowned. "Okay, I'll tell Tom you're ready, and he'll probably be here in the evening, and the two of you can talk." "Why don't you just tell me? You and I are friends." "You told me to trust you, and I'm trusting you. Just tell me." "Believe me, Maggie, if you have that talk with me, you wouldn't understand anything. Come on, let's take that bath, and then I'll get something for you. It also amazes me that you're not going to work now. Yes, because I'm taking care of you. Or, don't you want that? I do, and I am very grateful, but you have work. I know, but you're not getting paid because you're staying here with me. It's not fair. I am getting paid. You're getting paid? I asked, shaking my head in confusion. Yes. I don't understand. Getting paid how and for what? I said. It's complicated, Sarah replied, avoiding my gaze, but for now, just focus on getting better. Everything else will make sense in time. When Tom came in the evening, I was still in bed, but when Sarah told me Tom was here, I woke up and went to the living room. I found him in the kitchen. Hi, Tom. Hi, Maggie. How are you feeling this evening? I'm okay. I was preparing you some snacks. Sarah told me that you really love eating apples. Yeah, you don't mind if I make you a fruit salad with apples, of course. Okay, fine, I smiled. I wanted to sit on the kitchen island. No. Why don't you just sit in the living room on the sofa? It's comfier, and you'll feel comfortable. You can put your legs up. I frowned, but didn't refuse him as I went to sit in the living room. Sarah then came next from her bedroom door. So, guys, I have a hair appointment, so I'll see you later, she said, smiling at me and waving at Tom before leaving. I don't know why, but I felt like she didn't want to be here for the talk she knew was ahead. I sat silently and waited for Tom, who brought me a salad and a glass of water. He poured himself a glass of juice and came to sit next to me, but not too close. I liked that he put some distance between us. I started munching on the salad when Tom asked, So, is there anything you would like to watch? No, I think you know why you're here. I told Sarah. I think Sarah already told you that I needed to talk to you. Tom took a deep breath, his face serious. Yes, she did. What do you want to talk about? Tom, what's going on? This new apartment, all the money for the medical bills, it doesn't add up, and Sarah being here all the time not working. I need to know the truth. Why are you doing all of this? Tom looked down at his juice, then back at me. Maggie, there's a lot you don't know, and it's time you did. The truth is, I care about you, more than you realize, and I want to make sure you're taken care of, especially now with everything going on. I stared at him, trying to process his words. But why? Why go to all these lengths? We slept together one night. Tom looked at me and sighed. He took a deep breath, and it looked like he was preparing himself for a fight, which made me frown and wonder what was going on. Should I be getting prepared too? I thought to myself. Tom, I called him so that he could tell me what the hell was going on. He took another deep breath, took my hand tentatively, and announced, I know you're pregnant, Maggie. I blinked, my frown deepening. Of course you know. You know I have been sick, and we've been to the hospital. The doctor or the nurse must have mentioned it at some point in time. Yes, I know that you're pregnant, and I know that I'm the father. I was shocked as I blinked a few times. What? Yes, I know that it's my baby. I took my hand away from him. Tom, no, it's not yours. It is mine. I talked to Sarah, and she told me you haven't been with anybody unless you count me, the night we slept together and everything that happened after. So this child has to be mine. I don't know why you didn't tell me about it. I felt so bad to find out from Sarah that you were carrying my baby and you were struggling, that you never told me of the existence of my own child. I blinked again as I shook my head. No, Tom, listen to me. This baby is not yours. It is mine. He countered. No, it's not. How do you know that? How do you know it's not my baby that's in your womb? Because the timing is not right. The doctor told me when I first found out that it was 5 to 6 weeks along, and you and I had slept together like 4 weeks before, so it can't be yours. That's where you're wrong, Maggie. I know that child is mine, and you're not sure that it's not mine, and I'm not going to abandon my blood. Tom, you need to understand that this baby is not yours. We need to face reality. Maggie, I am facing reality. I love you, and I want to be here for both of you. If there's even a small chance that this baby is mine, I can't walk away. I looked at him, torn between anger and a strange sense of relief that he wanted to be involved, even though I knew he wasn't the father. This is complicated, Tom. Seriously. Listen to me. You are a good person. You have been very good to me. You have helped me, even though you didn't have to. And I would have been. I'm glad to call you a friend. He chuckled when he heard me calling him a friend, but I ignored him and continued, "But I can't lie to you. I would have loved nothing but for this child to be yours, to have a father who cares about him, who wants nothing but the best, who found out about him and wanted to be in his life, who was going to take care of him. But I can't lie to you, and in the end, lie to this baby too, because I know that it's not yours." "How do you know that, Maggie? How do you know?" he pressed. "I already told you. When I went to the hospital." "Yes, and when you were admitted there, I went to talk to the doctor. I told him I was the father, and I asked him how far along you are, and that child is mine. I don't know what happened the first time, but the doctor assured me that the pregnancy was nearly 3 months, and that baby has to be mine." I tried to calculate everything in my head, getting confused by the whole thing, but he continued, "It's mine. I wouldn't lie to you. That baby belongs to me." I was still shaking my head. "It can't be right. The baby could still not be yours." "And I am ready," he told me. "I am ready to take that chance, that that baby could be mine. Please, just let me be in his life." When Sarah told me what's going on, and I came there and found you in that condition, unconscious, in the situation you were in, my heart nearly leapt out. I was so hurt to see you in that condition, to see you that way while I was there and could have helped you. I can't risk losing my baby because I was scared that the child would not be mine." His words hung in the air between us. I could see the earnestness in his eyes, the genuine concern and determination. This man truly wanted to be a part of my child's life, no matter what. And while I was still reeling from the revelation, I couldn't deny the comfort and security that his presence provided. "Tom," I began, my voice softer. Just let me be in my baby's life, Maggie, please. Don't do this to the 3 of us. The 3 of us should be together. The 3 of us should be a family." "Tom, I think you're getting ahead of yourself," I said, trying to keep my voice steady. "I told you, and I'm going to tell you this again, Maggie. I love you, and I love the child inside you." He reached his hand toward my stomach but pulled back when he saw me tense. "I love us together. Please, let me be in my child's life. Please, let me be in your life. Please, let this baby have a family. Let's give him something he will be proud of. Let's give him a good environment, good parents, a good life." I shook my head vehemently. "Tom, this is too much. This is too much for me. I know that's why I wanted you to get better first, before we talked about this. And it's okay if you want to think about it. But that baby, I can assure you, is my child. I can't do this right now. I need to think about everything. Just take your time. It's okay. But remember to put that child's life, his future, first." I sat back, feeling the weight of his words. The idea of a family, a stable environment for my baby was tempting, but it also felt like a lot to process. Tom's sincerity was evident, and he was determined. Yet, I needed to be sure of my decisions, for myself and my child. "I will think about it, Tom," I finally said, my voice softer. "But I need time. This is all happening so fast." He nodded, his expression filled with understanding and hope. "Take all the time you need, Maggie. I'll be here, waiting. Just know that I'm ready to be there for both of you, no matter what." I gave him a small, tentative smile, feeling a mixture of gratitude and uncertainty. "Thank you, Tom. I appreciate that." He stood up, giving me space. "I'll let you rest now. If you need anything, just call me. I'm here for you." As he left the room, I sat there trying to process everything. The idea of a family, though overwhelming, also brought a sense of comfort. I knew I needed to think carefully at what was best for my baby and for myself. Everything Tom said was unexpected. I didn't expect any of this. I was ready to be a single mother, to raise this baby by myself. But now there was a willing father and the possibility of a family. That was something that looked too good for me in my circumstances right now. But then my mind always went back to Edward. I was sure this was his child. This was not Tom's child. I knew it in my mind, in my heart. But then why was Tom so determined that this baby was his? This was too confusing. Feeling exhausted by everything, I drank some water, finished the salad, and decided to go rest. When Sarah came back from her appointment, she came to see me in my room. "Hey, Maggie, how are you feeling? You're acting like a nurse now. Did Tom pay you to be my nurse?" "He didn't pay me to be your nurse. He paid me for the work I would be doing at the nightclub to take care of you." He knew that if he brought someone new, it would be more confusing and harder for you. So, he asked me, and I was more than happy to take care of you. You know how I feel about you. Plus, she said, laughing, I don't get to actually do anything. I just ask how you're doing, get you what you need, and my life is still on schedule. I'm still doing my own thing, so I'm getting paid to do nothing, she said, laughing as she sat next to me and bumped me with her arm. So tell me, how did your talk with Tom go? She asks softly, gauging for my reaction. Did you tell Tom that this pregnancy was his, that this was his child? I asked her pointedly. She smiled sheepishly. No, I did not tell him it was his child, but I also did not tell him it wasn't his either. I just told him you were pregnant. He asked how long, and I said a few weeks. I wasn't sure, and he got it in his head that he was the father. Then he started taking charge of the hospital and where you lived and everything. He was just so great with it and great about it. And I saw how you were struggling, and I knew that you needed this. I sighed, suddenly feeling drained and sad. I appreciate everything he's done, and I know he means well, but I'm still not sure this is his child. I don't want to give him false hope or make decisions based on a misunderstanding. Sarah nodded, her expression serious. I understand, Maggie, but maybe it's not just about whose child it is. Maybe it's about having someone who cares about you and wants to be there for you and the baby. You deserve that kind of support, especially now. I don't know, Sarah, that just seems misleading, and Tom has been really nice to me. This seems like taking so much advantage of him, but he keeps insisting that it's his child. He talked to the doctors and insisted this was his child. I'm so confused right now. Like, should I let him be? Should I let him think it's his child? But then what happens when he finds out it's not his? What happens to us and me when he leaves me in that condition? I don't know. This is all too much. Sarah looked at me with sympathy and concern. I don't think Tom will ever do that to you, Maggie. Seriously, he cares about you. He wouldn't just abandon you, even if it turned out the baby wasn't his. I sighed deeply, feeling the weight of the uncertainty. But I can't shake the feeling that I'm deceiving him, Sarah. If this baby isn't his, he deserves to know the truth. You're not deceiving him, Sarah insisted. You're just not sure. And he knows that, too. He's made his decision to be there for you and the baby regardless. That's his choice. Tears welled up in my eyes as I felt overwhelmed. It's just so hard. I don't want to hurt anyone, and I don't want to be left alone if it turns out this baby isn't his. Sarah took my hand and squeezed it gently. You're not alone, Maggie. You have me. Right now, focus on taking care of yourself and the baby. The rest will sort itself out. I nodded, trying to take comfort in her words. When Tom came to see me the following morning, we didn't say much beyond the usual pleasantries. He asked how I was feeling and if I had taken my medicine, doting on my every need. He brought groceries and made sure I had everything I needed, and then some. This routine continued for a few weeks. My baby bump was now visible, and Tom acted like the father, taking me to all my clinic appointments. He told everyone, the nurses, the doctors, that he was the father. Despite our initial conversation and the uncertainty surrounding the paternity, it seemed he had fully embraced the role. One morning, as he was putting away the groceries, I decided to try and broach the subject again. Tom, I began hesitantly, we need to talk about everything. He looked up from the fridge, concern in his eyes. Is everything okay? Are you feeling all right? I'm fine, but we can't keep avoiding this. What if the baby isn't yours? Tom walked over and took my hands in his. Maggie, I'm here for you, no matter what. The baby is mine. I can feel it. But what if he's not? I insisted. What happens then? He sighed, squeezing my hands gently. Then we'll deal with it together. I'm not going anywhere. I watched him interact with the medical staff during our appointments. His confidence and pride were evident. It was both comforting and confusing. Part of me wanted to believe in this new reality he was creating, but another part of me remained skeptical, wary of the potential fallout if the truth came to light. One day, as we were leaving the clinic, I tried to bring it up again. Tom, this feels complicated. I don't want you to get hurt. He put a reassuring arm around me. Maggie, the only thing that matters is you and the baby. Let's just focus on that, okay? As the weeks went by, the lines between reality and pretense began to blur. I found myself relying more and more on Tom, his presence a constant source of support. And although I still had my doubts, I couldn't deny the comfort and stability he brought into my life. One evening, as we sat on the couch, I looked over at him. "Tom, why are you doing all this?" He smiled softly. "Because I care about you, Maggie. I care about our baby, and I want to be here for both of you, no matter what." Hearing his words, I felt a mix of gratitude and confusion. "I just hope we're doing the right thing." "We are," he assured me, reaching out to place a gentle hand on my growing belly. "We're going to be a family, Maggie, a real family." By the time I was 6.5 months pregnant, the lines between truth and reality had blurred. I found myself accepting the narrative Tom had created, that he was the father. He checked on me constantly, took care of me, and interacted with the baby in ways that melted my heart. Every time he touched my stomach, his face lit up as he talked to the baby, read books, and sang lullabies. It was overwhelming and surreal. When we went for our 7-month clinic appointment, the doctor asked if we wanted to know the baby's gender. I was hesitant, but Tom's excitement was palpable. "Please, Maggie," Tom pleaded. "This is my first child. I really want to know if we're having a girl or a boy. I want to paint the room, buy toys. I just want to know." "I don't know," I started, unsure. "You can have a gender reveal party," the doctor suggested with a smile. "It's a fun way to find out, but of course, it's up to you." "Come on, please," Tom insisted, his eyes pleading. "Let's do a gender reveal party." Seeing his enthusiasm, I finally relented. "All right, fine. Yes, we'd like to know, but don't tell us now. We don't want to ruin the party." The doctor laughed, handing us an envelope with the results. "Here you go. Enjoy your party." When we got home, Tom was already on the phone, arranging venues and details. His excitement was contagious, even though I felt a knot of uncertainty in my stomach. He told Sarah about the gender reveal party, and she immediately got on board, her excitement matching his. But Sarah noticed my hesitation. "You don't look happy. What's wrong? Did you not want the party?" I sighed, trying to put my feelings into words. "It's not that. It's just, all of this feels like too much. I didn't expect any of this." Sarah sat beside me, her expression softening. "Maggie, this is a big deal. Tom is so excited, and he genuinely cares about you and the baby. But if you're not comfortable with it, we don't have to do it." "No," I replied, shaking my head. "Tom is so happy. I don't want to take that away from him. It's just, you and Tom are like my only family here." I started, my voice wavering. "You're the ones throwing the party, and I have nobody to invite. This is just insane. I just wish my parents could be here, my cousins." Before I knew it, tears were streaming down my face. Sarah quickly came over and hugged me tightly. "It's okay, Maggie, it's okay, but I'm sure you can invite them." I shook my head vehemently. "No, I can't." "Why?" she asked softly, her concern evident. "Just trust me, I can't invite them. This is all so surreal," I said, the weight of everything crashing down on me. "I'm sorry, I need to go lie down for a few minutes." I left Sarah and Tom exchanging a look I couldn't quite understand and was not in the mood to anyway, as I made my way to the bedroom. Once there, I closed the door behind me and let myself break down, crying into my pillow. The loneliness, the confusion, and the overwhelming nature of my situation all came pouring out. I let Tom and Sarah have their party. They were already doing so much for me, so I figured I could suck it up and let them have the celebration they wanted. I plastered on a smile and tried to get into party mode. As they included me in everything, shopping for flowers, cakes, dresses, and all the party details, I found myself getting a bit excited too. This was my first baby and might be the only one I ever have, so I was curious to know whether it was a girl or a boy, even though I could have waited until 9 months. Tom had gone all out, booking a venue for 100 people, claiming he had a lot of friends and close family. Despite my suggestion to keep it small, they were determined to make it grand, and I let them. The day of the party was amazing. Everything was elegant, classic, and beautiful. When I saw everything set up, I felt tears of joy. I was just so grateful for all they had done and for the celebration. Before we cut the cake to reveal the baby's gender, Tom approached me with an elderly man, an elderly woman, and 2 younger men. "Hey, Maggie, how are you enjoying the party?" Tom asked with a bright smile. "It's okay," I replied, returning his smile. "I'd like you to meet my family," Tom said, introducing the group. This is my Uncle Martin and his wife, Rose," he gestured to the older couple. "And these are my cousins, Michael and Simon." "Hello, Maggie. It's a pleasure to meet you," Martin said warmly. When we heard Alex was throwing a party for his pregnant girlfriend, we were surprised to learn about the baby. "We dropped everything to come as soon as we could," Simon said with a teasing grin. "Alex?" I asked, confused. "Oh, she knows me as Tom," Tom explained. "Tom is a nickname my mom gave me, Tommy. My real legal name is Alexander. We'll talk more about that later." Michael interjected, "So you're together and having a baby, but you haven't told her your real name? What will you call your baby then, Samantha Tom?" he asked with a teasing tone. Tom's Uncle Martin quickly stepped in. "We're just excited to finally meet you, Maggie. Alex has told us so much about you." I shook hands with Martin, Rose, Michael, and Simon, trying to process everything. "Nice to meet you all," I said, feeling a bit overwhelmed. "We're glad to be here," Rose said, giving me a warm hug. "We've been looking forward to this for a long time. Yeah, Alex has told Michael and me nothing, but it's wonderful to see everything in person," Simon added, still smiling. Tom smacked him playfully, took my hand and led me to the center of the room, where the party was in full swing. "All right, Maggie, it's time for the big reveal," he announced, his excitement palpable. We gathered around the beautifully decorated cake. Tom had already explained the process to everyone, and as we prepared to cut the cake, I couldn't help but feel a mix of anticipation and nervousness. Tom turned to me and said softly, "Thank you for letting us do this. I know it's been a lot, but I hope you're enjoying it." "I am," I replied, my smile genuine. "It's just been a lot, but I appreciate everything you've done." He squeezed my hand, and together we cut the cake. As we lifted the top layer, the blue frosting was revealed, signaling that we were expecting a boy. The crowd erupted in cheers and applause. Tom looked at me with tears in his eyes. "We're having a son," he said, his voice full of emotion. I glanced at the people gathered around us, feeling warmth. Despite everything that led me here, this moment felt special. Tom's family seemed genuinely happy, and I could see how much this meant to him. Martin raised his glass and toasted, "To Alex and Maggie and the newest member of the family." "Cheers," the room echoed. I found myself becoming more comfortable with the idea of Tom being my son's father. His support and the joy of the party helped ease my worries for the first time in a while. As everyone cheered and clapped, celebrating the news that I was going to have a son, I stood there in shock. It was so overwhelming to hear that I was having a baby boy. Suddenly, the room went silent, with a surprise hush over the celebration. I turned around and saw Tom on one knee, holding out a huge ring. He looked at me with hopeful eyes. I felt a wave of panic. "Tom, no," I whispered, my voice shaking. "Why are you doing this? We're not even sure about the baby. We're not together." Tom interrupted gently. "Maggie, I know this is sudden, but I love you. I love this baby. I want to be part of your lives. Will you marry me?" The room waited in silence as I tried to understand what was happening. The proposal felt like too much, and I was unsure how to respond. As I looked towards the crowd with all those unfamiliar faces, my eyes went towards Sarah, who was standing there at the forefront corner, looking at me excitedly as she kept cheering and mouthing, "Say yes, say yes, say yes." But I couldn't. I don't know. I guess I wasn't expecting this, and my mind immediately went towards Edward. Before everything went down the drain, we were engaged, and we never technically broke up. But then maybe we did, like, how can I get engaged to Tom? He and I weren't even together. He keeps insisting this child is his, and I have let him, but it's really not. But then when my eyes go back towards Tom and I see him pleading with his eyes and his whole face, I know that I cannot say no in front of all these people here. But after this party, he and I are going to have to talk. The party ended well, all things considered. Tom had dropped a bombshell on me, and I had to say yes. There were hugs, congratulations, and people asking about the wedding. It was all a huge commotion, but everyone except me seemed thrilled. Tom insisted on taking me home, even though I told him to stay with his family. He said he needed to make sure the mother of his child was safely tucked at home before anything else. When we got to the apartment, I was exhausted. Tom picked me up and carried me to the bedroom, something he had been doing a lot lately. I didn't protest, though I was fuming inside. He set me down on the bed, removed my shoes, and began massaging my feet. Just as I was about to speak, he cut me off. I know you don't want to marry me, and I know it was a shock. I should have talked to you first, but if I had told you before, you wouldn't have agreed. And if I hadn't done it in front of everyone, you would have said no. For if the answer is still no, I started to say, but he brushed it off. I also want you to know I was ambushed, Tom said. Ambushed by who? I asked. By my family. As I told you before my parents died, Martin and Rose have always taken care of me. They're the only family I have. Simone and Michael are like siblings to me. When they found out we were having a baby, they brought my mother's ring, he said, looking at the ring on my finger. I glanced at the ring on my hand, realizing its significance. Tom continued. When they found out about the baby, they were thrilled and insisted on coming to the party. They brought my mother's ring because they thought it was the perfect time for us to get engaged. They don't want us to have a child out of wedlock. I didn't expect them to push so hard, but they did. They think we are together. They're the only family I have left, and I didn't want to disappoint them. I looked down at the ring, its beauty now seeming to hold more weight than before. Tom's family had been so involved, and their gesture was genuine, even if the timing was too much. I didn't know they'd react like that, I said quietly, but I still need to figure things out. This is all moving too fast for me. Tom nodded, his eyes full of understanding. I know, Maggie. We can take it slow. I just wanted to show you that I'm committed to this, to us and our baby. I hope you can see that even if everything else is uncertain. He squeezed my hand gently, and I plastered a smile on my face before he left. Sarah came straight to my room when she got home. Oh my God, I'm so sorry, Maggie. Are you asleep? Not really, just trying to process everything, I replied. Sarah's eyes fell on my hand. Oh my God, the ring. Where is it? Can I see it? Please? I sighed and reached into the bedside table drawer, pulling out the engagement ring and giving it to her. She hesitated. You took it off? What happened? Why did you remove it? You wanted to see the ring. Here it is, I snapped. Sarah grumbled. Someone is in a mood, as she took the ring, examining it closely. Oh, this ring is so beautiful. Yes, I said. I don't know why he decided to give it to me. He said his uncle and his wife came with his mother's ring and told him it was time to make a commitment. Sarah quickly took the ring off. Oh my God, it belongs to his mother? Yes, Tom said he was ambushed by his family, and now I don't know why he's doing this. We're not even together, and I'm not sure this is even his baby. Sarah sat down next to me, frustration in her voice. But he's been there for you through everything, Maggie. He's shown he wants this baby, he wants it to have a family, and he loves you. What's so hard to understand, Maggie? Sometimes I just don't get you. I wish I were in your position with a man who would do anything for me, even if he wasn't sure it was his child. You keep creating obstacles over nothing. What's really wrong? You're just saying that because you don't have the whole picture. You wouldn't wish you were me if you actually were in my place. Really, Maggie? Really? Sarah's voice was sharp. Okay, let me give you some perspective. I grew up in a foster home. I've had to fight for myself since I was young. I don't have anyone who truly cares for me. Just acquaintances. And here you are, with a family on the way, a man who loves you, who's wealthy and willing to give you everything you want. And you're still not satisfied. You have all this, and you still complain? You better check yourself, Maggie. Count your blessings. She took a deep breath before continuing. You should apologize to Tom and put that ring back on before he finds out you took it off. I'm going back to bed. You've ruined my mood for tonight, she said as she headed towards the door. Honestly, I've never seen Sarah mad at me before. The whole time we have been living together, I've never seen her this mad. So maybe she's right. When Tom came to see me in the morning with breakfast in bed, I decided that Sarah must still be holding a grudge. Tom, can we talk? I asked. If this has anything to do with the engagement and you don't want it, that's fine, he said. But you're going to need to help me by pretending to be my fiancé for today. My family wants to meet you properly at lunch, and they've been looking forward to it. Could you please just help me out and pretend to be my fiancé for a few hours? After they leave, if you still don't want to continue with this, it's okay. You can back out, but please just help me with this right now. Tom seemed to be waiting for my response. I nodded. Okay, fine. I had already made and memorized my own speech for this conversation, but I guess it was going to have to wait. Great, I'll pick you up later for lunch with my family at the house. I know you don't remember it well since you left abruptly last time, he said, and I flushed with embarrassment as I remembered how I had left Tom's house that morning. But I'll come by and get you later, okay? He continued. Okay, I agreed. Tom approached me and, after a moment of hesitation, gave me a gentle kiss on the forehead before leaving. I didn't know what to wear and wanted to talk to Sarah, so I went to her room and knocked. She let me in, and as I entered, I was surprised by how cozy her room was. This was the first time I had been inside, and I took it all in. Sarah, hey. Hi, Maggie. I haven't seen you since morning. How are you? Are you okay? Feeling better? Yeah, I'm fine. I just needed a few minutes to myself. Are you still mad about yesterday? I asked, watching her face for a reaction. No, that's all water under the bridge. Plus, it's your decision. I have no place to tell you what to do with your life or your decisions because the consequences will be on you. I guess I just started thinking of my situation and compared it with yours. I'm sorry, she said. No need to be sorry. I'm just glad that you're okay, and that we're okay. All right, where are you off to? Tom is picking me up to go and meet his family. I met them yesterday, but we didn't really get to know each other, so he's going to reintroduce me to them today for lunch at his house. So, introducing you as what? As his fiancée. So you put the ring back on? Yes, but it's complicated. Complicated? I don't know how to make you understand, Sarah, but no, you don't need to explain anything. I just want to know, is the engagement real or not? I sighed, feeling the weight of the question. Honestly, Sarah, I don't know. I agreed to pretend for now, for the sake of his family. They haven't met me properly, and Tom thinks this will make things smoother. Sarah looked at me, her expression softening. I get it, Maggie. It's a lot to handle. Just make sure you're doing what feels right for you. I will. Thanks. Sarah nodded and then smiled. Well, let's find you something to wear. You need to look amazing. We spent the next hour picking out an outfit. Sarah helped me choose a simple yet elegant dress that would make a good impression. I appreciated her support and honesty, even though our situations were so different. Later, when Tom arrived, he looked relieved to see me ready. You look beautiful, Maggie. Thanks, Tom, I replied, trying to muster a smile. Ready? He asked, holding out his hand. Ready, I said, taking his hand. We drove to his house in the fancy part of town, the silence in the car heavy with unspoken words. I was nervous, but I knew I had to get through this lunch. Tom parked the car and turned to me. Just be yourself, he said softly. They're going to love you. I nodded, trying to believe him. We walked up to the door, and as soon as we entered, his family greeted us warmly. Martin, Rose, Michael, and Simon were all smiles, clearly excited to see us. Welcome, Maggie, Rose said, hugging me. We're so glad you're here. Thank you, I replied, returning the hug. We sat down for lunch, and I tried to relax. The conversation flowed easily, with Tom's family asking me questions, and I did my best to keep my story straight. I found myself enjoying their company despite my nervousness. Towards the end of the meal, Martin raised his glass. To Maggie and Tom, may your future be filled with happiness and love. I glanced at Tom, who smiled at me. I raised my glass, feeling a mix of emotions. Deep inside, I knew I was lying to every single person in this room. After lunch, we went to sit in the garden where the whole family had wine, except for me. I had a glass of water, and we continued talking. Alex's uncle brought up the subject of the wedding. So when is the wedding? He asked, drawing everyone's attention towards Tom and me. I looked at Tom, expecting him to lead this conversation. Soon, Tom said, but Martin pressed for specifics. Yes, but we need an exact date. You're 7 months pregnant now, right? Rose said, directing her question at me. I nodded numbly. So it's only 2 months before the baby comes, and we don't want to have the wedding when you're too tired. I say 1 month tops. Let me take care of everything, and let's do the wedding quickly, Rose exclaimed, her excitement evident. My eyes widened in shock as I glanced at Tom, silently asking, what the hell is going on? This was supposed to be a charade. Tom took my hand, patting it as if to signal me to stay calm and not blow our cover. We were thinking of getting married after the baby comes. We don't want to jinx anything, and we don't want her to be too tired, Tom explained. Michael interjected, "No, that's against the family's rules, and you know it. That's why we brought the ring. This baby cannot be born out of wedlock and outside of the family." "Why are you both dragging your feet about this wedding?" "Tom, you know the baby has to be born after the wedding," his uncle said sternly, as if this was a law written somewhere. This was all news to me. I kept staring at Tom, waiting for his answer as his hands fidgeted, clearly weighing his words. Maggie and I haven't really talked about the wedding," he began. "In fact, the proposal yesterday was a surprise, so I think we first need to talk before we decide this." But Rose interjected, "But you two knew that you were going to get married, right? I mean, after you found out that she was going to have a baby, you knew you were going to have to get married. So I'm sure you might have talked about this at some point," she said, looking at both of us like she couldn't understand why we hadn't discussed tying the knot. Tom skillfully continued, "We didn't talk specifics, and I can't speak for Maggie." He turned to me. "Maggie, what do you think?" he asked, putting me on the spot. I took a deep breath, feeling the pressure of everyone's eyes on me. "Well, like Tom said, we haven't really talked about it. Everything has been happening so fast, and I think we need some time to sort out our thoughts and feelings. The baby is our priority right now, and we just want to make sure everything is right for them." I glanced at Tom, hoping I was saying the right thing, but we appreciate your enthusiasm and support. It means a lot to us. Rose looked too disappointed with my answer, and Martin looked a bit mad as he stared at Tom. "So let me get this straight," Martin asked. "You two are not getting married?" He glanced at me briefly before focusing back on Tom. Tom shifted uncomfortably but kept his composure. "It's not that we're not getting married," he said, choosing his words carefully. "It's just that we need to discuss the timing and make sure it's the right decision for both of us and the baby." Martin's expression remained stern. "This isn't just about you two. This is about the family and the child. The baby should be born into a stable and committed family." I felt the weight of Martin's words and the pressure from everyone around us. Tom squeezed my hand again, trying to reassure me. "Martin, we understand the importance of family and commitment," Tom said. "We just need a little more time to make sure everything is right. We appreciate your support and understanding." Martin didn't look entirely convinced, but he nodded slowly. "All right, but don't take too long." Rose sighed, still looking a bit disappointed, but she managed a small smile. "We'll support whatever decision you make," she said, though her tone suggested she hoped we'd make the decision soon. Tom then takes me home, but before he takes me home, he takes an unfamiliar road. I ask him, "Where are you taking me?" "I thought we were going home." "Yeah, but you're stuck in that house nearly every day. I thought I could take you to the aquarium. I hope you don't mind." "It's fine, thank you. I think I'm really going to enjoy that." "Well, let's hold on to thanks until we get there." We get to the aquarium and we look at the different wonders, which I greatly enjoy. We have ice cream and sit outside later and just talk. I realize Tom could actually be the man for me. He's already going to be a great father with everything that he has already done. He uses his time, his money, and everything to be with me, to please me. I don't think I could ever ask for a better partner. As we sit outside, I say, "Tom, if you're really serious about this, and you don't care about the paternity of this child, I am sure in time I may learn to love you. So if you're really serious about being with me, maybe we should give it a try. But I want you to know that I'm getting over someone else who hurt me deeply. I hope you can give me a chance to forget about him and let you into my heart. But from all the time we have been spending together, I have learned that you're a very good man. You're going to be an exceptional father to this child. And after all the words about family, I know that refusing you would mean refusing a family for this baby, and I want to give it a chance." Tom looks at me with bewilderment and surprise, and then something like a smile and relief. "Are you sure?" I take a breath, and then say, "Yes, I'm sure." "Are you really sure? Because you have been against this from the very first moment, so forgive me if I'm having a hard time adjusting to this sudden change. Are you seriously ready to give our family us a try?" "Yes, Tom, I'm ready." He then enveloped me in a hug, kissing my face and repeating, "Thank you, thank you, thank you." Letting me go, he took my hands and looked at me. "You will never regret this. I will spend the rest of my life making sure you know you have made the best decision of your life." At that moment, as a tear fell from my eye, one I did not fully understand, I truly hoped I had made the best decision. We later went home, and as soon as we got inside, he started calling out, "Sarah, Sarah, we have good news. Come on, Sarah." Sarah came out of her bedroom looking tired. What happened?" "Sarah, Maggie and I are together," Tom said, taking my hand and kissing it. Sarah was unmoved. "I know. What's new?" "No, we are really engaged. She agreed to get married to me. We got engaged." Sarah looked at Tom, then at me. "Seriously?" "Yes, Sarah, I thought about what you said and realized I want this baby to have a family." She squeaked, hugging me carefully to not squash my baby bump, then hugged Tom, her hand over her mouth. Oh my God, I'm so happy for you guys." "Oh, we should celebrate." Tom said, "I think we've had enough celebrations. Maggie can't even celebrate other than drinking water. I think we should let her rest because she's been on her feet all day." "Okay. Yes, let's get her to rest, but this is the best news. Really, Maggie, I'm so happy you came to this decision before it was too late." Sarah took my hand and led me to the bedroom. I removed my shoes and got on the bed. Once Sarah and Tom had left, their happiness evident, I gave them a convincing smile to let them leave. As I lay there, my mind went to Edward. I finally said goodbye to the man I had loved, because now I had to learn to love somebody else. Being in a relationship with Tom was kind of crazy and fun. He started coming to the apartment with roses, kissing me on the cheek, holding my hand, and trying to get me comfortable before he did something. Sarah watched us with amazement as she laughed at us, making jokes, by telling us we looked like an old married couple who was headed into a divorce instead of a new couple who was just heading to the peak of their love. But it was all okay, and I loved that Tom was taking it in stride, and he wasn't pushing it yet. My baby bump was so huge I needed help to stand, to sit. It was crazy. I felt like an old grandma, and Tom was there to help me and make me feel good about my situation. I doubted I was ever going to regret this. When we went to the 8-month clinic visit, Tom took us to have lunch before we went back to the apartment and said, "I was hoping to talk to you about the apartment." "Okay, what's up with the apartment?" I asked. "We are going to have to move," Tom said, hesitating. "I was hoping because you will need a lot of care and a lot of help with the baby and giving birth that you should move into the house." "The house? What house? What are you talking about?" I asked, confused. "I mean my house," Tom continued, stammering and blushing a little. "It's big. There are many rooms. We should have already started decorating the baby's room. The apartment you live in has 2 rooms, and Sarah already has the other. We can't kick her out. One of the agreements I had with Sarah was that she was going to stay in your apartment for 2 years. So I thought the house, my house, that's going to be our house after... Yes, it's going to be our house after all. I think it's time you moved in." I didn't know what to say. I stammered. "Oh, that's new. I never thought about it." "I know, Maggie, but we have to be realistic. You and I are engaged now. We are going to get married. That is my house. It's going to be ours, too. It's where we're going to have and raise our children. Unless you don't think the house is suitable, we can look for another house." No. I think the house is beautiful. It has space. It's amazing," I said. "Yes, that's why I am saying that it is time. We're already in a relationship. We're getting married. It's where we're going to raise the children. We should have already started decorating the baby's room, but we haven't. We have prepared nothing for the baby, which we should have started already, but we can't do it at your apartment, so we should move in. What do you think?" I thought about this for a few minutes. Although it was a surprise, I guess it was logical, and I had nothing to disagree with him. "Yes, you're right," I finally told him. "Thank you. I'm so glad you understood where I'm coming from. I actually expected you to put up a fight." "Yes, you're right. We just bought a few clothes for the child, and we are already engaged anyway. Yes, we should. Yes, let's move in." "Great. Okay, so we're going to go and tell Sarah, and then I'm going to go home and make preparations for you. When do you think you can move in? Maybe later today?" "Tomorrow," I suggested. Let's do it tomorrow, maybe. I need to say goodbye to Sarah. I can't just leave her on a whim. Returning home after lunch with Tom, my mind was filled with thoughts of the upcoming move. I knew I had to tell Sarah, and I hoped she would understand. Sarah was sitting on the couch, busy on her phone. She looked up and smiled as I entered. "Hey, Maggie, how did the appointment go?" she asked, setting her phone aside. "It was good. The baby is doing perfect," I replied, trying to gather my thoughts. "Sarah, can we talk for a minute?" "Sure. What's up?" she asked, a hint of curiosity in her voice. I took a deep breath and sat down next to her. "Tom and I talked about something important today, and I wanted to discuss it with you." Sarah's expression grew serious. "What's going on?" "Tom thinks it's time for me to move into his house," I said, watching her face closely for her reaction. "He's right. The apartment is small, and with the baby coming, we need more space. Plus, he wants to start setting up the nursery." Sarah's eyes widened slightly, but she remained calm. "Oh, wow, that's a big step." "I know," I said, feeling a mix of excitement and nervousness. "But it makes sense. We're getting married, and we need to prepare for the baby. It's just, I'm going to miss living here with you." Sarah smiled softly and took my hand. "Maggie, I'm going to miss you too, but I get it. You need to do what's best for you and the baby, and it's not like we won't see each other. I'll visit all the time. I promise to help with the baby." I felt a wave of relief wash over me. "Thank you, Sarah. I was worried you'd be upset." "Of course not," she said, giving my hand a gentle squeeze. "I'm happy for you. You're starting a new chapter in your life, and it's exciting. Plus, Tom is a great guy. He's going to take good care of you." "He really is," I agreed. "He's been amazing through all of this." "So when are you moving?" Sarah asked. "Tomorrow," I said, a bit sheepishly. "Tom is going to help with the move. I wanted to give you a heads up so it's not a shock." Sarah laughed. "Tomorrow? Wow, that's fast. But it's okay. I'll help you pack." "Thank you, Sarah," I said, feeling grateful for her support. I couldn't ask for a better friend. We spent the rest of the afternoon packing up my things. Sarah kept the mood light with jokes and funny stories. We reminisced about our time living together, sharing laughs and a few tears. The next morning, Tom arrived early to help me with the move. Sarah was up and about, trying to hide her sadness behind a smile. "Maggie, are you sure about this?" Sarah asked as she handed me a cup of milk. "Yes, Sarah, it's the right thing to do," I replied, squeezing her hand. "We'll still see each other all the time. You can visit whenever you want, Auntie Sarah." "I know, it's going to be different without you here," she said, yet her voice tinged with emotion. We finished packing by mid-morning. Tom loads the boxes into a truck because I don't have a lot of things anyway, while I take care of the last-minute details. Sarah hovered nearby, helping where she could and occasionally wiping away a tear. Finally, everything was packed and ready to go. Tom hugged Sarah and reassured her that she was always welcome at our new place. Then he turned to me. "Ready to go?" he asked. I nodded, glancing around the apartment one last time. We arrived at Tom's house, which would now be our home. It was a beautiful, spacious place with plenty of room for us and the baby. Tom had already started preparing the nursery, and I could see the effort he'd put into making it perfect. "This is it," Tom said as we walked through the front door. "Welcome home." I smiled, feeling a mix of excitement and nervousness. "Thank you, Tom, for everything." Over the next few weeks, we settled into a routine. Tom continued to be attentive and caring, bringing me roses, kissing me on the cheek, and holding my hand. Sarah visited often, and we spent time together, making the transition easier. One evening, as Tom and I were sitting on the couch, he turned to me with a serious expression. "Maggie, I know this hasn't been easy for you, and I want you to know how much I appreciate you giving us a chance. I promise I will do everything in my power to make you and our baby happy." "I believe you, Tom," I said, squeezing his hand. "I'm starting to feel like this is where I belong, and I know you'll be an amazing father." Tom smiled, his eyes shining with emotion. "You have no idea how much that means to me. You are the best thing to ever happen to me in a very long time." The transition to Tom's house was surprisingly smooth. It had been a month now, and everything was going better than I had imagined. Tom had gone all out preparing for the baby. The nursery was complete, the crib assembled, and the room filled with baby essentials. He had even bought toys and clothes that the baby wouldn't need for years. Every time he saw something cute, he bought it, regardless of its immediate usefulness. I often joked that he was overdoing it, but he didn't care. He wanted to provide everything for his son. His son! As we sat down for dinner, we talked about my upcoming doctor's appointment, likely the last one before the baby arrived. We were in the middle of our conversation when there was a knock on the door. Tom went to answer it, and I heard some muffled voices and laughter. Moments later, Martin and Rose, Tom's uncle and his wife, walked into the dining room. Rose came straight to me, her eyes lighting up as she saw my baby bump. "Oh my God, you look so beautiful," she exclaimed, hugging me from afar. "I can't believe how much you've grown since we last saw you. When Alex told us you were now living together, we were so happy. We thought we'd come and check on you." "Thank you. That's really nice of you," I replied warmly. "Have you had dinner? You should join us." "Oh, we already had dinner and we're quite tired," Martin said. "We drove the whole way here. We should probably just take a shower and sleep. We can talk tomorrow." "That's all right," Tom insisted. "I was going to work later today anyway, and my lovely fiancé here was also going to rest so our baby in the oven can grow up strong and healthy. A real alpha." I found the term strange. It was the first time I heard him referring to my baby as an alpha. But people use the term alpha male all the time, and I didn't want to make a big deal of it. I smiled tightly to hide my feelings, and Martin and Rose smiled back at us. "Of course, that baby is going to be the strongest little boy ever," Rose said, and I could see butterflies in her eyes. She seemed to be really, really in love with this baby, and that just filled me with joy. "All right then," Martin said. "We'll head up and rest, and I'm sure we'll see each other tomorrow." "Of course, Uncle. You know where your room is, or would you like me to show you?" "No, it's okay. You finish your dinner," Martin said as he took Rose's hand and went up the stairs. The next morning, during breakfast, where everybody was in attendance, Tom had already come from work, and Martin and Rose had already slept off and woken up. I was also filled with a lot of energy today. As we were having breakfast, suddenly Martin began. "So, Alex, what's up with the wedding? We have been waiting for word on the wedding, but you seem to be evading us every time we ask about when the wedding is going to be. You evaded us so much that we had to take a trip and come down here so we could confront you," Rose continued. "Plus, she's nearly about to have the baby, and we wanted to be done quickly and fast before the baby comes." Tom chuckled nervously as he finished chewing a piece of toast. "Well, Uncle Martin, Aunt Rose," he began, glancing at me for support. "We've been really busy getting everything ready for the baby. But you're right, we need to finalize the wedding plans." I smiled at Tom, then turned to Martin and Rose. "We've talked about it, and we think it would be best to have the wedding a few weeks after the baby is born," I said. "That way I can recover from the birth and we can enjoy the day without too much stress." Martin raised an eyebrow. "That makes no sense. You know our family tradition, Alex. We prefer things to be settled before the baby arrives." "I know, Uncle, and I'm sorry." Tom stammered as he looked at me and then avoided making eye contact. "Maggie she doesn't feel ready for the wedding yet." "What do you mean she doesn't feel ready for the wedding yet?" Martin asked, looking at us in confusion. It's complicated." Tom started biting his words and putting me on the spot. Martin and Rose looked at me and Martin asked, "What's going on, Maggie? Is there a problem?" I shook my head. "No, there's no problem, Martin." Rose intervened. "If there's anything wrong, or Alex has done something, or there's a problem with your relationship, tell us. We know Alex's parents are no longer here, but we are his parents now. If there's any problem, we will take care of it. Please see us as your parents too and tell us what seems to be the problem." "No, there's no problem," I said, my cheeks heating. "It's nothing. So there's no problem. Everybody's saying there's no problem. Alex, you're ready?" Martin asked. When Tom nodded, Martin turned to me. "And Maggie, you're ready?" I was put on the spot. I didn't know what to do, so I just nodded. "Okay, then everybody is ready and into this marriage, into the wedding, so I guess it's just time to set the date early before she pops," Martin said. Rose clapped excitedly. "I knew us coming here was the right choice. I can prepare something fast, in 2 or 3 weeks," she said. But Tom intervened. No, I don't think she will be able to really enjoy a wedding in 3 weeks. You can see how tired she already is. That did not deter Rose. Okay, fine, let's do it in 2 weeks. I shook my head. I really don't think it's the right time to have the wedding. I won't even be able to enjoy it anyway. Nonsense, Martin said as he kept thinking. You know what? It's okay. You don't want a big wedding anyway. Let's just do something small, a little traditional wedding, something small. Your family, Maggie, our family. Let's do something traditional. Let's get you guys married. And then when the baby comes, and you're able to have the big wedding that you want, then you can do it on your own time. I glanced at Tom, feeling the weight of the decision. He squeezed my hand reassuringly, and I nodded slowly, hoping this was the right choice. When we got to our bedroom, Tom looked nervous as he took my hand and guided me to take a seat. Are you okay with this? Are you sure you're on board with this? I don't want you to do anything you don't want to do. And if you're not ready for this, just tell me. I'm going to talk to my uncle and everything will be sorted out. But I just shook my head. I don't know. I mean, we already agreed to it, and Rose was already into it. She was already calling people and choosing. I mean, I honestly don't think there's anything we can do now. But we can still stop it. It's our wedding, our marriage. They don't have a say in it. If we're not ready, we can just stop the whole thing. I looked at Tom and thought about everything. So I asked him, do you want this wedding? Do you want this marriage? He took a deep breath as he took my hand and looked me in the eye. You know that I love you. You know that I want this family, and you know I would have married you a very long time ago if you hadn't been putting up a fight all the way. So yes, I'm on board, but I know you still have some things to figure out, and I don't want to force you into this. I guess there's no time like the present, P. I'm ready. Let's get married. Are you sure, Maggie? Yes, I'm sure. Let's just get it over with. We were going to get married anyway, weren't we? So let's just do it so they stop bothering us with it, so that we have time for the baby and we can enjoy him when he comes here instead of us thinking about the wedding too. Are you sure? Tom still asked me. Yes, I'm sure, Tom, I'm sure. We're going to get married. I'm so happy, he said as he started touching my stomach and said towards my bump, Hey, little guy, so Mom agreed to marry me. We're going to be a family. And I don't know why, but tears started falling, and I hoped they were happy tears. Later, Sarah came over because apparently Tom had called her and told her about the wedding. She arrived in full swing, happy with champagne in hand. I immediately told her I couldn't drink. It's non-alcoholic, Sarah protested. I still don't think it's good for pregnant mothers, Rose intervened as she came into the room and found me and Sarah sitting there with Sarah pouring 2 glasses of champagne. But I can have one in her stead, Rose said as she took the glass from Sarah's hand and then looked at her skeptically. Who are you? She asked. I'm Sarah, Maggie's friend, and the only family she has here. Also, the best friend she has. I'm going to be her maid of honor. Rose answered, her eyes narrowing as she assessed Sarah. Well, I wasn't expecting this. Who did you say you were again? She asked her. The tension in the room rose, but Sarah held her ground. My name is Sarah. I'm Maggie's best friend. I'm sure you have heard of me. And who are you? She shot back at Rose. I had to intervene to calm things. This is Tom's uncle's wife, Rose. I'm sure you must have met her at the engagement party. Oh, Sarah said, like she had just remembered. And I'm sure she remembers me too. I heard you were in charge of the wedding, Sarah continued, speaking to Rose. Yes, I am. I was just expecting to have Maggie's family there. I didn't know she had a friend, Rose replied distractedly. Nobody said anything. Sarah shot me a look. Oh, I'm sorry, Sarah. We've just been talking about the wedding the whole time, and you just never came up. But we haven't covered much about the wedding, and it's good that you're here so we can plan together. You know I'm not good at these sorts of things. Maybe there are things you might be able to contribute. Nonsense, Rose intervened. I have the wedding under control. I don't need anything from you. It's just going to be a family thing. Yes, and Sarah, I said, Sarah is the only family I have here. I don't think my parents will be able to make it in such a short time. So the only person I'll have there is Sarah. I saw Sarah beaming with a smile, but Rose's face changed. Oh, darling, your parents won't be there? Why? What's wrong? Why can't they come? Is there a problem? I'm sure Alex can do something to make sure they're here with you on your big day. It's not that simple, I replied, trying to explain. They live far away, and they have commitments that can't be easily rearranged. Plus, it's very short notice. Rose looked concerned, her brow furrowing. Well, we'll just have to see what we can do. It wouldn't be right for your parents to miss their daughter's wedding. I'll talk to Alex and we'll find a way to get them here. Sarah jumped in. While that's very thoughtful, Rose, Maggie's comfort and wishes are paramount. If her parents can't make it, we'll ensure she still has a memorable day. Rose looked at Sarah, then back at me, her expression softening. Of course, dear. We'll make sure it's perfect for you, no matter what. I smiled, grateful for Sarah's unwavering support and Rose's sudden willingness to accommodate. The conversation had been tense, but it seemed like we were finding common ground. Thank you, Rose, and thank you, Sarah. I'm really lucky to have both of you helping with this, I said, trying to ease the lingering tension. Rose nodded, but Sarah answered, I'm so happy to be a part of your big day. Of course I'm there for you. I was thinking, for the wedding, we could get this. But before she finished, Rose had cut her off. Thank you, Sarah. But as I said, this is a traditional Zill wedding. It's a Zill family wedding. I'm sure you don't know what kind of flowers are needed, or what kind of food is even served. Why don't you leave this to me and just come as a guest? Sarah swallowed, but still answered, As the maid of honor, I would love to go over that traditional wedding ceremony with you, Rose, if you don't mind. I'm sorry, I do mind. This is a Zill thing. The only person I'm going to talk to about the wedding is the future Mrs. Zill. So why don't you just sit, relax, do whatever it is you do, and leave the wedding to me? She looked back at me. I was surprised. Ever since I met Rose, she has been sweet, humble, and accommodating. A very easy person. This was a new side to her I had never seen before. Rose, then she looked up at me. Her face softened. I'll see you later, Maggie. Let me continue with the wedding preparations. Oh, this is such a short time, she said, and then she strutted out the door. Sarah looked at me with a look that said, What was that? I shrugged, feeling a mix of confusion and frustration. I don't know, I whispered, still processing the sudden change in Rose's demeanor. Well, Sarah said, her voice determined, we're not going to let her bulldoze over everything. It's your wedding too, Maggie. We should have a say in it.